All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for week 3 of the GLCC going up against LunarEkko, who is the coach of the New York Empoleons, and they are a monotype water team, as you see on the right here. And so once again, the Seattle Slashers are going to be having a type advantage. So looking forward to playing with that type advantage again. Last time we had a type advantage, we managed to pull out the win, but it was only a 2-0 victory, and so it was very narrow. We will see if we can replicate that in a little bit better of a sense, or if all of these water Pokemon, which have ice coverage, are going to run through my dragons. And there's a couple ways I think that Lunar could go about doing that. He has some very scary threats like Greninja, Manaphy, just to name a couple, right? You see them all on the right of the screen. There's a Walking Wake, and there's those low tier Terra Caps with Rain, like Floatzel, Basculin. Ludicolo's not a Terra Cap, but it does still have that Swift Swim buff. And so if these offensive pieces for Lunar end up taking over the match and everything like that, then it can definitely spell disaster for the Dragons here. But that being said, let's hop into the team builder here. As you can see, we are debuting with a very, very heat set Cyclizar named Valkyrie here, with a Yashi Berry so that we can get in safely. And as you see here, we have a Shift Gear offensive set with Shed Skin. The reason why I'm Shed Skin and not Regenerator is because I don't really intend on switching this guy in and out, and in case I get frozen by like an Ice Beam as I'm setting up, or if I get somehow parried, or I don't know what could happen, I'd rather like have a chance to just instantly shed off that freeze or whatever. And so that's why we are Shed Skin over Regenerator. We are rocking out with Max Attack here, Power Whip, Supercell Slam, Double Edge, and Shift Gear. And after doubling my speed with Shift Gear here, and between the Jolly Nature and our 208 speed EVs, we should outspeed his entire team, even those Swift Swimmers under Rain. So I'm definitely happy about that. That is the Cyclizar set for this week. Pretty interesting one. I'm curious to see how it goes, because when I was running this team through in a mock, it was actually not doing a whole lot. Initially I had what's the item called? Is it Wide Lens, the one that improves accuracy? I always get my lenses mixed up. But I'm pretty sure that's Wide Lens, because Power Whip and Supercell Slam, Power Whip has a tendency to miss, being only 85% accurate. Supercell Slam is 95% accurate, but if you miss, there's a huge punishment in which you take 50% damage in recoil on yourself. So that's definitely not ideal. But hopefully we just don't miss, right? That's the expectation. Come on, Cyclizar, you can do it. Second up, we have Rook, the Archaludon, with leftovers here. Was debating scarfing this guy in case he does go with Rain, then Electro Shot and Dragon Pulse and Thunderbolt, kind of just solo to an extent. But I decided to go with a bulkier set, and in case he gets in early, he can also set up Stealth Rocks. In the event that Rain isn't brought, this is probably going to be one of our least valuable pieces, dare I say. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not expecting Archaludon to really be doing a lot unless there is Rain, but hopefully it can slow down some of his physical attackers in Basculin, maybe Floatzel. I know that Floatzel does get low kick, so that could be bad, but that's kind of why it is here. Next up, we have Ash. Ash was initially holding a Yachi Berry as well, but I decided to actually give it Choice Scarf so that it can outspeed a Greninja, like a Protean variant or a Battle Bond variant that hasn't popped Battle Bond yet. I am a little bit scared of Battle Bond. Obviously getting that speed boost and that special attack boost, it's definitely coming special this week. Obviously getting those boosts is going to kind of run through my team, but we have some counterplay to that a little bit later that we'll talk about. Actually, you can kind of see it here, right? Yeah, there you go. But yeah, Greninja's really, really scary. And so ideally, I'm hoping that we can get like an outrage off on it or a U-turn off on it, right? And then we also have Taunt here to stop a Manaphy from setting up. Our team is quite weak to Manaphy with like Ice Beam spam, and if it is Tail Glow and Ice Beam, then that can definitely be quite disastrous if I don't get it low enough. But yeah, pretty standard Scarf Roaring Moon. We're probably going to lead this guy and just click U-turn because I am expecting a Greninja lead from his end if Pelipper is not there. If Pelipper is there, then we're probably just going to lead into Pelipper, in which case I will probably also just U-turn out. But very standard Roaring Moon nonetheless. Next up we have Latios here with a Colbur Berry. If it is a choice Greninja and he starts clicking ice moves, I'm gonna be upset. But if he does click Dark Pulls into our boy, then Fenrir should be fine, and we should be able to do some big damage here with our powerful attacks. As you see, we have 4 attacks here with max, or not quite max, because we don't have the nature, but we have max EV special attack, Energy Ball, Thunderbolt, Luster Purge, Draco Meteor, kind of the ideal lineup for a water matchup, right? And so hopefully we are able to pull through here. I have both Energy Ball and Thunderbolt because there's some defensive pieces such as Quagsire, which is immune to electric, and Toxapex as well, which is neutral only to Energy Ball, but we do also have Luster Purge for Toxapex, and so I'm hoping that we can just break a lot with this Pokemon. I wish it was a little bit faster, man. It's meant to be like a jet plane, right? But unfortunately that Walking Wake is going to be outspeeding us, and so that's something to keep in mind. Maybe depending on where we are in the game, I'll probably just switch out, but that's sort of the idea here behind Latios. Next up, our Terra Captain for this week, we are debuting Thunderbird the Appleton. This guy has one job, and one job only: stop the duck. Quaquaval is a serious threat once it gets going. I don't care that, Aqua Step is resisted and stuff. It only really needs 1 or 2 of those to effectively start cleaning up my whole team, and so that's definitely scary. I'm very worried about like a close combat Aqua Step, Swords Dance, Ice Spinner sort of set, right? There's also the possibility of other moves that it gets, like Brave Bird and things like that, which is actually why we're carrying a Koba Berry. Obviously, with our ability Thick Fat, once we Terra, we will be resistant to fighting, resistant to ice, and with the Koba Berry, we actually won't die to a Brave Bird immediately, and we are almost max HP, max physical defense here. So this guy shuts down the duck. It is his one and only job really in this matchup to do. Light Screen is here so that in case the duck switches out because he realizes that the apple is simply too tough, then we can set up a Light Screen and sort of goob some of his strong special attackers such as Greninja, Walking Wake, Manaphy, etc., right? So that's Appleton's job. Hopefully it pulls it off. If not, we are benching him for the season because Dragalge is better in 99% of scenarios. And finally on the team, we had to bring it back with Raging Bolt Solus. This time we are running the Assault Vest, Thunderbolt Volt Switch, and Thunderclap, which is our signature priority move, which is going to be super duper helpful probably in this matchup, right? As if he's going to try and win with any of his setup threats, like that Manaphy and Acid setting up, I get it low, sure, maybe it gets a kill. But Raging Bolt comes straight in and threatens it out with Thunderclap pressure. Outstanding. And with our Assault Vest and with max special defense, we can actually take 3 hits from a non-Specs Protean Greninja with that Ice Beam, right? If it is Specs, then we can still chew 2, which is enough that I can get 1 electric move off on it and do some big damage, right? And then we also have Draco Meteor because this guy's an absolute nuke. It's going to be doing tons and tons of damage. And if Quagsire comes in with that Unaware ability, this is something that I missed out in my matchup against Dracogon with the Unaware Skeledirge. If I click Draco Meteor into Quagsire, it's actually going to be doing the same amount of damage the following turn because of Unaware, which is going to be ignoring my special attack drop that I usually get from Draco Meteor. And that was something that my co-host S Master pointed out to me in his videos that he's been uploading on his channel. He uploads pretty much a weekly analysis of what happened throughout the GLCC over the course of a week. And so if you are interested in hearing about that, then definitely do check it out. He has some outstanding in-depth commentary. As a noob, certified noob, my commentary about the game is very lackluster, and it's totally different to hear it from a much stronger player's perspective. So if you're interested in that, then his channel will be linked in the description, and I highly suggest you check out the week 1 and week 2 reviews if you have not done so already. The week 3 one may or may not be up by the time this video goes up. If it is, then go ahead and give that a watch too. If not, then stay tuned to Smaster's channel, as it's going to be coming out soon. Anyways, that's going to be it for the team builder here. I think it's a fairly standard squad for a water, against a mono water team matchup. But hopefully we just don't get read like a book and he has some crazy counter strat to me like we did against Sir Blue. But yeah, that's the idea. I will see you guys in the battle coming up. It's going to be a doozy, one way or the other. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for week 3 of the GLCC to commence. We have water up against dragon. I'm not seeing that Pelipper, so it looks like Lunar has elected to go either manual rain, which would be interesting, or no rain at all. We do see 2 swift swimmers in Lostlotl and Ludicolo, one traditionally special, one traditionally physical. We see Greninja, Walking Wake, and Quaquaval as expected, and we see the Quagsire instead of Toxapex, or I was kind of expecting both, but I expected Toxapex a little bit more than Quag, but that's alright because we do have some grass moves here on the team, as well as a grass Pokemon in Thunderbird, the Appleton. As for lead matchups, I do have my Scarf Roaring Moon here with U-Turn, which would punish an early Greninja lead unless the Greninja is also Scarf, and it also just like can U-turn out, and so I can be very reactionary to his lead. I'm thinking that I like having Roaring Moon around for that Walking Wake, because if this thing is booster speed, then Roaring Moon is going to still outspeed it. If it's Scarf, then Roaring Moon is still going to outspeed it, and so then I'll be able to not get swept ideally. I could also maybe lead Raging Bolt. I don't think that's the move though, in case he goes Quag for some immediate hazards. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to lead Moon. I think I'm just going to play it safe. U-turn. U-turn here. If I do U-turn, let's see, if I do U-turn, then we're hoping that he's not Scarf, right? Because if he's Scarf and he moves first, then I might just straight up die, which would be an awful start. If I U-turn, then I reveal to him that I am, in fact, like willing to stay in on this Greninja, and so it's pretty obvious that I'm Scarfed even if he switches out and I click U-turn into something else. But I think that's still what I have to go for. Hopefully he's not Scarf. Boom, some big damage here onto Gojo the Greninja. That's really nice, but he does know, of course, that I'm Scarf, and I can assume here, I think it's pretty safe to assume that this Greninja is going to be going for like an Ice Beam or something like that. And so I'm thinking about just going immediately into Raging Bolt, who can definitely chew at least one. Let's see, I'll run the calc on that just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it can definitely chew 1. Greninja, let's see. Oh yeah, if this Greninja is Specs, then Raging Bolt is going to be taking a maximum of 57 only, and that lets us get in some Volt Switch shenanigans, or I can also pressure Thunderclap, which is great too. And so I'm definitely just going to go here, I think. Maybe you also U-turn. Nope, we are just Ice Beaming, and it's going to do absolutely nothing. So he knows that we are AV. At this point, I'm assuming that he's going to switch, and so I am just also going to Volt Switch here. There's no way he falls immediately for the Thunderclap. Greninja is far too valuable for that. But it's good to know that we do have a Pokemon in Roaring Moon that's going to be outspeeding it. So I think the best play here is definitely just a Volt Switch. If he wants to go into the Quagsire, then I suppose that I can just go Latios, right? Alright, so we're going to see Ludicolo come out. It's going to take 26%. Interesting. That Raging Bolt's really strong. I expect Ludicolo to take a little more from that. I know it's only neutral, it's not super effective. So let's throw this Ludicolo into here, my calculator, and let's see. This thing appears to be quite bulky. I only did 26. So with max, that was a little bit of a low roll. So I can actually sort of expect this thing, honestly, to be kind of assault vested, I think. Yeah, I think that saying that it's assault vested is actually not too hot of a take. Not too hot of a take at all. And so what I can do here maybe is just go right back into that Roaring Moon. And it looks like Outrage is going to pick up a KO. I can also just U-turn for some more nice damage. Or I can Knock, although it looks like if it is indeed max HP, Knock shouldn't be killing. So let's see. Is there a better play for me? Maybe I go into maybe I go into Cyclizar. How much does Cyclizar take? Ice Beam actually does not end up killing me because of my Yachi Berry. I think that I can just go into Cyclizar and safely shift gear and go for some big damage. Right? Because what's... Oh my god, everyone in chat is clowning me for taking so long. I think I'm just going to go Psych. I don't think he has priority unless it's like Aqua Jet on Floatzel, which I resist. So hopefully won't be doing too much damage, but we'll see. I'm just going to go for this. It's okay. Oh, it actually reveals leftovers here. Okay, interesting. So if I get to +1 on this guy, then Double Edge has a very nice chance to KO after some leftovers. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to go for that. Let's just shift gear on this guy, and we'll see what happens here. Hopefully we do not get frozen. We're going to consume our Yachi Berry. Thank you again for Lostlotl for the mocks, because this Cyclizar was doing absolutely nothing versus all of these ice moves. And let's see, max HP with no physical defense has a really nice roll to kill. If it is Fizz Def, it's Fizz Def. But I'm just going to go for a Double Edge here and hope that we kill. Alright, we do kill. Outstanding. We're going to eat a lot of damage there. But the Cyclizar is already putting in tons more work than in the mock that I did. And so I'm really happy about this. And Floatzel is going to come in. I'm assuming that in this case it does just have Jet. Let's run a calculation just to make sure. I swear I can spell Floatzel. There we go. It looks like Aqua Jet, if it's banded and adamant, is only going to be doing 27 max. Am I reading this correctly? Hold up. I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure I'm doing this correctly. No way Banded Floatzel doesn't kill this, right? I'm just going to... Okay, Supercell kills. It has better accuracy. I'm just gonna Supercell. There's no reason not to, unless he goes Quag or something like that. But I don't even know if he knows that this guy gets Supercell. I was super shocked to see it in the builder, and everyone I talked to about this set was also super shocked. Yep, so he doesn't go Quagsire. This is amazing. And if he does decide to go Quagsire now on something, then we can instead just click Power Whip and hope that we don't miss here. Yep, here's this, and so we're just going to click Power Whip. This Cyclizar is working super well. It doesn't quite kill. Ice Punch is gonna take me out, but that is some crazy value out of that Cyclizar set. I'm so happy that that worked. Nice. All right, I think I just go Latios. Oh, I see. Oh, I was just reading what Lunar was saying in chat. It looks like that he accidentally did not Terra. And man, that's the second time in a row that I've just completely forgotten that one of these Mons is a Terra captain. I need to remember this, man. I'm like out of the rhythm or something. Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but we're going to be in a very nice position here. I'm just gonna go into U, and what should I click here? I don't want to click Energy Ball or Thunderbolt, obviously. Wow, and that's good heads up on that's a good heads up like read on LunarEkko's part to know that I get a Supercell Slam. He definitely did his research, so that's unfortunate that I guess maybe he like missed the button or accidentally clicked it twice. So I feel a little bit bad about that. Do I want to click Luster Purge here into a potential Greninja coming in? Do I want to do that? You know what, I am just gonna click Energy Ball, I think, because it hits everything except Wake, right? Let's just go for it. Alright, we're gonna claim our kill here, and we'll see what decides to come in. I wouldn't be shocked to see Greninja, wouldn't be shocked to see Walking Wake. Alright, and it is going to be that Walking Wake. So we're probably gonna go down to some big dragon attack here. Unfortunately, I'd like to keep this a little bit healthy because I do have that Colbur Berry on it for a Dark Pulse. I think that that is going to be my play because I know this Greninja's not Scarf. I know it's not Specs because it only did like 30 something to Raging Bolt. And so it's definitely going to be able to switch moves around, which means it'll probably click Dark Pulse if I had to guess because, you know, it's Stab and everything into Latios. And I know that it also is Protean, so I don't have to worry about Battle Bond, which is great news as well. I think that in this position, I can get rid of Arcaludon, right? Arcaludon was nice. Obviously, I was going to bring it. It kind of pressured Lunar into not bringing Rain, but I don't think it's super needed now. We are going to see an Agility pop. Ooh, and it actually looks like Draco Meteor may have a chance to kill me, which is not outstanding at all. I am just going to Dragon Pulse in response, and he Dragon Pulses into me. Let's see, how much does this do? He's gonna be Hobbenberry. Great prep on his part. This walking Wake, yeah, is looking a little bit scary now, because another Dragon Pulse is going to be taking me out, but that's okay. I think that I'm just going to try. And do I have priority? I don't have priority, right? I have Thunderclap. Should I just go for damage maybe, or try and set up rocks? I don't think it really matters. I'm just going to go for damage. We should die here. We do die here. That's okay. And this Walking Wake is looking a little bit scary. Let's run the Appleton Terra bug calculation, and Draco Meteor does not even appear to kill us, even if he has that button. Although we don't do enough back by the looks of it. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but we can of course still go for a light screen here. I would of course like to keep this guy as healthy as possible for the Quaquaval in the back, which is not ideal. But worst comes to worst, we do have that Thunderclap on Raging Bolt. Outstanding read going for the Flamethrower, but it's not going to be quite enough. And so in this position, I feel quite safe to just Apple Acid and try and get a kill here, or get a kill on Greninja, possibly Quaquaval, or at least lower Quaquaval quite a bit. But we'll see how this goes here, this interaction. Now that I have this light screen up, I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to beat this Walking Wake one-on-one. So we'll see what decides to go down here. An unfortunate critical hit there, but I think it was a 2-hit KO anyways, and so I'm not too sure that that crit really mattered. Draco Meteor is going to do big damage, but we do survive because of the light screen, and so I'm just going to recover back up. We'll do it again, and I'm going to do it one more time. This may seem like BM. I'm sorry if it is BM, but I want to be as healthy as possible for that Quaquaval. I'm going to light screen. I'm going to recover again, and then we're going to Apple Acid here finally. I don't mean this to be like BM or anything. Yeah, I don't mean this in a bad way at all, but I just want to be as healthy as possible for Quaquaval here. And we do see Greninja. Here. I think that I can just Apple Acid once. Okay, and he's going to Spike. And it's up to Quaquaval now. Let's go ahead and Leaf Storm. Ice Spinner's gonna do nothing. Alright, and we pick up the KO. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that to be GG's again. I didn't mean that to be BM or anything like that. I just wasn't sure what the Quaquaval was going to do. I was worried about specifically Brave Bird, because obviously being a grass type and then being a bug type after Terra instead of a steel type, I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't be able to stop this Quaquaval without like super duper duper investment and then that Koba Berry and then all of my health, because Quaquaval, when it gets out of control, is super duper scary. And again, I'm sorry to Lunar if that was BM. I didn't mean it in that way, and I'm also sorry that the little Terra interaction that got messed up. Let's see, good prep, same to you, King. Yeah, sorry again for all of that, but I do think that overall this was quite a clean win. I'm super duper happy that I managed to realize that my Cyclozar set wasn't going to work out without that Yachi Berry, and I'm also glad that I went with Scarf Roaring Moon for a good lead. So, some great improvements to the team made after a mock. I'll see you guys in the breakdown. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we pulled it out. Thank goodness. I was a little bit worried because obviously a lot of these water type Pokemon have ice moves. I'm pretty sure everything on the squad for Lunar, including what was on his bench, I think that all his Mons had some sort of ice coverage, but that being said, this is still a advantageous matchup for me, definitely, considering I had Raging Bolt for a strong super effective priority, in addition to Appleton as a wall, in addition to Arcalodon to like counterplay Rain, right? And so yeah, this was definitely in my favor, but we managed to pull out a convincing 4-0 win. It was only a little bit like convincing because this Floatzel decided to not Terra for whatever reason. Lunar mentioned, as you saw in the battle, that he clicked the Terra button, but something went awry and Floatzel ended up not terastallizing. And so had that happened, had the terastallization gone through, then it would have actually been Terra Electric, and it certainly would have eaten up a Supercell Slam from Cyclozar. And it would have changed the game pretty drastically, because it was a pretty interesting set. We exchanged pace as usual after the battle, and this Floatzel was a bulk up substitute set, and its 2 attacking moves were Ice Spinner and Low Kick for Archaludon and Roaring Moon, which is pretty interesting. Very, very interesting, if I say so myself. So had that Floatzel terastallized, it probably would have claimed 2 kills, including the Cyclozar that was in front of it, if not 3, right? But unfortunately that didn't happen, and so it ends up in a 4-0 victory for yours truly. So we'll just go ahead and start the replay rolling here. This is actually going to be Sash Greninja to counter Roaring Moon lead, in case I decide to just go for Outrage or something like that and to go for the kill. Then it would have lived on 1 HP and killed me back, of course. But we're just going to U-turn out. I think that was definitely the smarter play, and so I'm glad I made it. And then we reveal AV Raging Bolt here. Go into Cyclozar now, and we're going to set up a shift gear because we know that we are Yachi. We're going to eat that berry up, and now we're in a really nice position. So we're just going to bonk the Ludicolo. Had this thing been a little bit fizz def, then there was actually a really nice roll, from what I could tell, that Ludicolo would survive that. But, you know, it is what it is, and then this unfortunate Floatzel play with it not terraying. So I'm sorry to Lunar about that. But we're in a really good position here with Cyclozar, and we do tons and tons of damage to God Slayer, the shiny Quagsire. Tremble in his name. But we're going to clean up with Latios here. I think that the better play here possibly was to just stay in with Latios and click Draco. Even though this was Habon Berry, and it definitely would have lived my Draco and gotten an agility up, I think that's probably the better play. And then once I see that, oh crap, I'm in danger, this guy is now at +2 speed, then I can switch into Archaludon. I think that was the better sequence for me there, but I decided to hard switch now as it sets up the agility, and I give it to him for free, which is not ideal. But we are going to take some damage off here. And there you go. Archaludon dies. And we're going to bring in Thunderbird, the Appleton. And again here, I know that I kind of tortured this Walking Wake to an extent, right? I just crit it, got the drop, it's 100% anyways, and so the next one definitely would have killed. But I know that I wanted some HP on this guy for Quaquaval. Had this been Brave Bird Quaquaval, then it would have popped a Koba Berry on me, but I was just very scared of this Quaquaval, right? Because if it crit through or something like that, then I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't end up losing to it, because this guy's an absolute snowball. And so again, I don't mean any BM here up against LunarEkko. I don't mean anything like that. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't lose to that Quaquaval in the back. And we're going to clean up the Greninja as it sets up a spike. And Quaquaval is not going to be doing enough damage, and Leaf Storm thankfully connects. That was another reason why I was trying to do that. I knew that Leaf Storm had a chance to miss, and I would rather just immediately click Leaf Storm and get the Quaquaval over with if I could, instead of clicking what's it called, Apple Acid twice. So that was my reasoning for recovering a whole bunch in the face of Walking Wake and setting up all those light screens. So definitely overkill looking at it now, but in my headspace, that was definitely the play that I wanted to make. Don't mean any BM to him again, but that's just the way that it played out. And there you have it, folks. GG's to Lunar. Let's see, who are we playing next week? I believe that we are playing Arch, coach of a mono bug team known as the Area Zero Archers, and so I'm excited to play up against a mono bug team. I think it's going to be very interesting. Only time will tell how we deal with that. For now, again, GG's to Lunar, and we claim another victory. That's going to be it from me. I will see you guys next time. Until then, go Seattle Slashers.